How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and welcome back to another Blue Protocol video. Today I wanted to give you a bit of an update from the developer livestream that just happened this morning. We had a lot announced, and I'm gonna go through it. It was about an hour-long stream. I'm gonna get it for you in under 10 minutes, hopefully. But there was a couple of juicy information bits in here, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. First off, I wanted to say that there was no release date announcement, so I just want to get that out of the way. I know people had their hopes up, hoping for something like that. They announced at the start of the stream that there was no release date going to be released today, and that was just basically what it was. However, there will be another developer live stream at the end of May, so that's something that we're looking up forward to coming in the future. So now that we have that out of the way, they had a few cool statistics for us in the network test or the beta. They had a pretty much it was like a fun facts section, but essentially there was 75% of female characters created and only 25% male characters. That seems a little sus to me, guys. I don't know about that one. But anyways, the Blade Warden was the most popular class by far. And then on top of that, they also had 6.2% of players reach level 20, which was the max level. Furthermore, they had 4.6 players clear the tower, which was the highest combat score related activity within the beta, and then 3.7 cleared the arena. So these were the high-end activities that the players who got the highest gear and the max level were able to reach, so that gives you a good idea of what went on during the test. Now that we have that out of the way, they did talk a little bit about balance adjustments. So they're taking a lot of feedback. They learned a lot from this test. They said they collected some really good data about the servers, about the way that their structure was going to handle everything. They even banned some cheaters early on, which was surprising to see. But out of all of that, they did talk about some of the characters and the adjustments that are going to be happening here. So some of the balance adjustments, they noticed that they maybe made the Keen Strider a little bit too strong in this test, so that's probably going to be looked at. The elite monsters had their HP lowered quite a lot. So in the test, they were basically giant damage sponges and they took forever to kill. But now they're supposed to have lower HP but stronger attacks, so it's a bit of a trade-off. They're a little bit more of a threat, but they're not a walking, 10-minute DPS check, right? So hopefully that will be a lot better, because I remember spending a long time trying to kill these elite monsters, and even skipping some of them because I just didn't want to sit there beating this thing for 10-15 minutes, right? So that was good to have a good change for that one. I was definitely super excited on that. In addition to that, they boosted the drop rate for some of the materials in the hard dungeon. There was a bit of a struggle trying to get those special crafting materials and materials that were used in some of the adventure boards. So they took a look at that and they're adjusting it accordingly, so you won't have to grind forever and ever and ever to get these things. So that's really, really nice. They also are taking a look at the aggro system, because they noticed that the aggro skills just weren't doing much at all, if anything. And I definitely agree with that, since I was a Blade Warden in the network test, and yeah, the aggro skills did absolutely nothing. I was better off doing damage to get aggro, and that's kind of the build that I went for. So it's good that that's being taken a look at. We will have an actual functional tank aggro system that will be built in, so that's good to see on the horizon. On top of that, they are lowering the cooldowns for skills in general. There was a lot of skills talked about, but the ideal behind it is to have lower cooldowns so that you can press your skill buttons more often, and they're going to feel more impactful, probably do a bit more damage. So they touched briefly on that and a few specifics, especially with the Sorcerer, with the Keen Strider, and a couple of other stuff. So that's basically the idea behind it. They want you to be able to press your buttons more and have them hit harder. So mobs are going to have a little less HP, you're going to hit harder, you're going to be able to press your buttons, but they're going to be a bit more deadly with more attack as well. Alright, and next up, we also have the few notes that they had about the materials that were required specifically for the adventure boards. If you guys remember the infamous mushroom from the network test, if you don't, just be glad you never had to deal with it, but it's gone. Basically, there was materials that were required you to advance your adventure board, but it would take you almost a half hour just to find these drops. It was absolutely ridiculous. Completely RNG, but they are now putting guaranteed drops behind certain locations on that, so you're not going to have to deal with that. It's not going to be a hassle, and trust me, this is probably one of the better changes. And another really, really insane change that they have, they're removing the level cap that is tied to the adventure rank. So that was very interesting to me because the whole system was built around getting your adventure rank up so you could increase your level. But now I guess you could just level up and then backtrack and do the adventure ranks. So basically it seemed like some people were struggling completing the adventure rank quests at the levels that were required. So I guess they're just letting you like level past and backtrack. I'm kind of curious how that's going to affect everything as a whole, but ultimately it'll just be about the leveling up process. So it's not really pertaining to the end game. So it'll kind of be like something that you encounter once and then not really much in the future. So no worries on that too much, but that was a very big and major change. They're also going to take a look at the adventure boards in general and make the drops easier to get for some of those hard materials. You guys that played the network test and know grinding for like a half hour, an hour just to get some of those was a little bit ridiculous. And they're also upping the rewards, so that's going to feel a little bit better to engage with the adventure boards. And then finally, the last comment that we have here to wrap everything up, they did talk a little bit about the end game, but they said that they won't be saying too much until they have a roadmap out. So there is a roadmap in existence. It will be pushed out at some point in time. We don't have it yet. We don't know what the details are. We don't know when it's coming, but we do know that when it does come, we're going to get some more information about the end game. And I think that this is really important because the developers specifically talked about that end game. So that's really important. They recognize it. They know that it needs to be there, and they know that people want to see that. And for me, that's a huge plus because a lot of games are just like, oh yeah, come play our game. It's really cool. You can level up. And it's like, all right, I've leveled up. Now what do I do? Well, now that's it. We didn't think past that. And it's like, oh, it's such a letdown, but it's really good to hear that being discussed already being talked about, already being looked into, already being developed. And for me, I think that's really, really good news for Blue Protocol. So all in all, this live stream was pretty cool. It's nice to get some insight from the developers, and we will hear again from them in May, at the end of May. So hopefully that will mean that we'll get a summer-ish Q3 release date. I don't know. It's going to be kind of weird with that live stream being at the end of the May, unless they're like announcing it there and it's coming in early June. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Do you think this game's coming out in June, July? Is it just going to keep getting pushed back further and further? What do you think the deal is going on? And how do you feel about these changes? Do you think that these changes are good overall? Do you think that lowering the difficulty is good for the game? Should they keep it a hard difficulty? Go ahead and comment down below and let me know your thoughts. All right, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching it. Hopefully it didn't take too long there. Appreciate your time in watching the video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell if you have not already, because this is going to be one of your best places to get Blue Protocol information. So if you're interested in this game, make sure to check that one out. Also, I will be streaming some Wuthering Waves beta gameplay, which is happening right now. So most likely later today on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Sethphir, I will be streaming Wuthering Waves later in the day. So I'm going to be checking that one out. It's a new gacha game, sort of like Genshin, Tower Fantasy style of game there. So we got a lot of cool games coming up on the horizon in 2023, and it is about time. Thanks for watching once again, and we will see you in the next one.